excited. We're going to continue our piano practice. We are also going to continue learning about different eras of music history. And I also have a really fun game to get us started. Here we go. Alrighty. This game, we are going to be clapping rhythms. And when I clap them, you're going to repeat them back to me. This game is really awesome. As this song continues, I'm going to clap rhythms that you're going to clap back to me. Now, the one challenge is there's going to be one rhythm, which when I clap it, you're not going to clap it back. Kind of like Simon Says, but without any words, it's all music. So let's do a few practice rounds before we really get started with the game, all right? Now, the rhythm that we have to remember that you're not going to clap back goes like this. Listen carefully. Don't clap this one back. Don't clap this one back. Listen to it a few times. Alrighty, now I'm going to start clapping rhythms that you are going to clap back to me, unless you hear this one. Alright, here we go. Nice job. That was our rhythm. Listening really carefully. If you clap that one back, we need to make sure that we remember that rhythm. Remember, don't clap this one back. Let's go. Round 2. Here we go. Did you do it? Or did you not? That was our special rhythm. Let's keep going. Here we go. Round 3. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. Did I get you? Here we go. Let's keep going. Now that time I played it twice. Yeah, it still counts as the same rhythm though. Let's keep going. They're getting a little bit longer, the rhythms that I have. If you ever don't get one, that's totally fine. Let's just keep going with the music. Here we go. Oh, that was our last rhythm. Now, this is an awesome game to play with anyone you know. You can call a friend or FaceTime a friend and play this with them. You can play it with your family. All you have to do is clap rhythms and make one rhythm the special rhythm that they're not supposed to clap back. See if you can find rhythms that you would like to trick your friends and family with. Today to start, we are going to review C and G major scales. First, let's start with our hands separately, and then we'll work on getting our hands together. Alrighty, starting with our C major scale in the right hand, we have 1, 2, starting with our thumb. 1, walk it up. 3, under with the thumb, and walk each finger up to the top. Back down, we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, over with the third finger, and the second and first pivot down. Very nice. Let's try the left hand. The pinky now starts in the left hand, and we're going to start an octave lower, 8 notes lower on the C below middle C. Here we go. Ready? 2, starting with the pinky. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, over 3, 2, 1, back down. 1, 2, 3, under. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very nice. Now remember, we want to keep the pads of the finger as close to the keys as possible, if not resting on the keys the entire time, to get that legato sound, that connected sound, going from one key to the next simultaneously. No big gaps. Now once you feel confident in both hands, we're going to try both hands together. Now this may take some extra practice that you may not achieve in this video, and that's okay. And some of you might get it. It is something that will come perfectly with practice. If you're not at the point to get two hands together, keep practicing each hand separately until it becomes almost second nature. Now, for those of you who are ready, we're going to walk up the scale with both hands. What we remember is that we have 3 keys until we have to switch our fingerings in the right hand. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to walk up 3, and we're not going to think too much about it. We're just going to go from low, C, D to E on both hands. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, D, E, and pause. Now the left hand stays exactly where it is in the same direction it's going. It's going to keep walking up, but our right thumb is going to walk up. Here we go. 2 more and then pause to G. F and G. The right hand has pivoted already to the rest of the notes. Now it's the left hand turn. It's going to go over and we pivot, walking it up. Same thing back down, but it's opposite. We go C, B, A. There's the 3 now. It's the left hand turn to go first, under with the thumb. Going down 2 more to F, G, and F. Third finger and the right hand goes over, left hand stays the same, and we walk it down. 3, D, and C. Let's try it together with an even tempo. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. C, D, E, under with the right, G, over with the left, B, and C. Back down. C, B, A, under with the left, over with the right. Beautiful. Let's go a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3. Under with the right, over with the left. Back down. Under with the left, over with the right. Now let's shift to G major. The fingering stays exactly the same, but now our starting point is different. If before we started with our thumb on C, now we're going to start with our thumb on G. Let's count up the notes. C, D, E, F, G. That's our new starting point, so we're going to move our right hand there. We're going to find the G an octave lower, 8 notes lower for the left pinky. Now it's the same concept. The only thing we have to remember is that the F white key is going to turn into F sharp, a half step above. We don't play this white note here, F. Instead, we replace it with F sharp. Let's give it a try. Nice and slow, both hands together if you think you're ready. If not, each hand separate is completely fine. Here we go. On the count of 4. 1, 2, here we go. We have G, A, B, under with the right, C, D, over with the left, E, pause. Make sure your thumb on the left and fourth finger on the right is on F sharp here, not on the white key, but on the black key. We walk up our last two notes, F sharp and G. Keep them right there because we're going right back down. Here we go. G, right there, F sharp. Make sure your third finger's on E before the left hand crosses under. Down to D and C, right hand crosses over. Walk it down. Beautiful. Let's pick it up just a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Under with the right, over with the left, F sharp, reach, and G. Back down. Reach for E with the third, under with the left. Over with the right. Beautiful. Now, this week, you're going to take the same exercise we did in the past 2 weeks with your metronome, going up bit by bit, 10 beats per measure at a time. Trying to get to 120 beats per minute with a nice legato sound. What legato sound is, as a reminder, is that we are making the transition between each note as seamless as possible. As the next note gets pressed down, that's when we lift up the note before it, not any time before. So we want to avoid big gaps in the music. Now that may be simple for you for one hand, but try and also get that simultaneous movement, that smooth legato sound in both hands. That's really what we're aiming for. When we separate them, this is something else. This is called staccato. It can be super short, like this. We talked about this in one of our earlier videos. Now, the next thing I want to talk about are intervals. Intervals are the distance between notes. When we're doing a scale, we are doing intervals of whole steps. We like to call these steps in music, especially for piano, because we're going from one note right up to the next one, making steps upstairs. Now, music does not always move in a line like this, straight up and straight down. Sometimes we want to skip over steps. These in piano we like to call skips. They're also called thirds. If a step is the first note to the second note, a skip would be the first note, skipping over the second note to the third note. Whatever note you start on, you're going to skip the next note and go to the third. So if I'm going to start on C, it's going to be E. If I start on G, a skip is going to be up to B. Skips don't always have to go up. They can also go from a G to an E, or an E to a C. So I want to teach you an exercise that works with both skips and steps. That way, we can learn our first piece on the piano, reading music. Now, we're going to start as in the same position as if we were going to start our C major scale. We'll start just with the right hand. Now, we're going to go with our thumb on C, skip to our third finger on E, then skip our fourth finger and to go to our fifth finger, the pinky, on G. Then we're going to walk it down to the F with our fourth finger and our second finger on D and back down to our thumb. So, this whole exercise sounds like this. 1, 3, 5, 4, 2, 1. I'm calling out the fingers that you're using now. Thumb, middle, fifth, ring finger, pointer finger, and thumb. Give it a try in the same place, starting with little C with your left hand. Here we go. Ready? It's going to be backward now. We're starting with our pinky, fifth finger, then going to our third, then our thumb, then our second, our fourth, and our pinky again. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5, 3, 1, 2, 4, 5. Now, if we're going to label these as steps or skips, from C to E is a skip. From E to G is also a skip. Then we're going to take a step down to F with no note in the middle, no note of our scale, skip to D, and take our final step down to C. This is the last exercise to practice today before we move on to our song. Now what's important is that we also use our metronome to get a nice legato, steady beat in our exercise like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we eventually can get up to a faster tempo like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once you've practiced that and gotten really strong in both hands and both hands together, let's continue on in the video and learn our first song together. The first song we're going to learn together is a song that hopefully all of you know, called Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, or the ABCs. It's the same melody, actually taken from one of Mozart's pieces of a theme and variation. Now, we start with our thumb on middle C. Now, instead of a third skip to E, we're actually going to skip up all the way to our fifth finger on G. So we have 2 quarter notes on C. Twinkle, skip to your fifth finger. Twinkle. We step the fifth finger, we reach it to the A above it, just 1 step above it, 2 more quarter notes, and step it back down. Let's give that a try. We have C, C, G, G, A, G. Again. C, C, G, G, A, G. Then it's nice and easy. We walk it down with 2 quarter notes at a time. To our fourth finger, F, F. Again, down, E, E, D, D, and end with a whole note, our thumb holding C right where we started. Let's try the whole thing together. Remember to keep a nice consistent tempo. If you make a mistake, that's fine. Keep going with me. Here we go. Ready, and 1, 2, here we go. C, C, G, G, reach A, G. Walk it down. F, F, E, E, D, D, C. We're going to learn the rest of the song next week. After the Baroque era was the Classical era, starting around 1750, going to 1850. The Classical era was filled with many known composers, such as Mozart, Haydn, and Beethoven in the beginning of his career. There were also other amazing composers that are lesser known today, such as Chevalier de Saint-Georges, a composer from Guadeloupe, which is a French island in the Caribbean, and Marianne Martinez, an Austrian-Spanish singer and composer. During the Classical era, opera and symphonic music exploded, both in popularity and in size. Opera choruses and symphony sizes started expanding closer to 50 and 100 musicians. Opera houses and symphony halls filled thousands of seats. The music halls grew bigger as instruments became louder, most notably the piano. Before the classical period, the harpsichord and the pianoforte were played, which were smaller and quieter versions of the piano, without the same ability to sustain sound like the modern piano. Opera became popular music for all types of people. These operas told tales of historic figures and epic romances, to silly fairy tales with witches and mystical creatures. Many of the operas written in the classical period are often performed in opera houses even today.
The song we just listened to is an excerpt from Mozart's Ah, vous dirai-je maman, which is where the melody for Twinkle Twinkle Little Star comes from. He took this melody and he made variations on it. He continues on with multiple compositions that go on for about 10 minutes. This aria, or song from an opera, is from The Magic Flute, written by Mozart. Mozart was born in Austria in 1756. From a very early age, Mozart was a brilliant violinist, performing in his first professional concert at the age of 5 and composing his first symphony at the age of 8. He came from a very musical family and wrote and performed for many royal families throughout Europe during his lifetime. Joseph Haydn was another composer from Austria who was born in 1732. 107 symphonies in total in his lifetime. He worked for many royal families and courts throughout Europe, just like Mozart. In this symphony, you can hear the large volume increase from earlier music, as the instruments are louder and there are a lot more of them. He is also known for his church music, especially his oratorios, which were sung dramatic stories of the church, similar to opera but without costumes and set changes. While classical music was expanding across Europe and even into Eastern Europe and Russia, many types of folk music were emerging in America. From folk music developing from America's European roots to prairie music and spiritual music from African American slaves. Less is known about these early years of American folk music because it was mostly transferred orally and not written on sheet music, like classical music of the time. However, folk music was beginning to carve the pathway to blues, country, and even pop and rock and roll that would all explode later in the 20th century.